Okay, and we are recording again. Thank you for joining us here. This is the Fog 24/7. We are back. We have been gone for a while. A lot of life changes have been going on. My schedule has been hectic. His schedule has been hectic. She's about to change life situations right now. She's actually going into the armed forces. Wednesday, is it?
Tuesday.
Well, she leaves Monday. So we want to be in complete prayer for her.
Horton here's the who.
My words are slurred. Y'all please forgive me. We just love to have fun. She's actually going into the Navy. And just keep her in prayer as she goes to boot camp, and pray for her strength as she goes through that transition in life. And we're going to always keep you guys updated on her status as we hear more information that she writes us, and we write her back and see how she's doing and such. And so it's just been a blessing to get back to what we love to do, and that's talk about the gospel and Jesus. And so we're going to actually start off today with our conversation, like, what is the joy of the Lord? Like, where do we find, how do we implement joy in the Lord into our lives truly?
Okay, let me see. I'm gonna start it off. Joy in the Lord. In my case, with my experience, finding joy in the Lord is through any situation that I'm going through, I can still find joy because my joy is not attached to things of this world. My joy is not attached to this world. My joy is not attached to another human being or another, object or how much money I have in my bank account. My joy is attached to the Father in heaven. And, he's still good through everything. He's consistent joy. He's consistent happiness. Even though things fluctuate down here, we still find joy in consistency. And the consistency is in the Father. And, it's just, I find myself in joy. I find myself walking around just happy. Just laughing, bursting out and laughing, and just walk to the bathroom at work.
Wait a minute. Why you so happy to go to the bathroom at work, though?
I mean, I just be thinking,
I'm just mad,
man. My mom runs at 1,000,000 miles an hour, so I just be thinking about everything. And I just like, you know what? I'm happy. I'm really happy. I used to be I used to be just really sad, just depressed and stressed out about everything. But I get really happy, and I'm content with where my life is right now. I mean, of course, I want it to be better, but I still find joy in it. So yeah, that's what it is.
And that's like everything that we all go through when we try to find joy, because I'm a very passionate, like, optimist type of person. Like, any type of bad situation, I try to find the good in. Even though I know I fall short sometimes, even though I know it's not exactly the way I should have handled it, when I look back on it, I'm like, man, I should have handled this differently, because, like, you want to be consistent in your joy. You don't never want to doubt the Lord in anything that you go through, because I find a lot of joy in just a simple thing. It's like waking up in the morning, joy, you know what I mean? Being able to put $20, not $5 in the gas tank, that's joy. Like, everybody ain't able, you go to the gas tank and see, like, some people don't put in, just a gallon just to get to somewhere else, you know what I mean? And it's joy when you look at it, you be like, Lord, I could be a lot worse off. I could be dead in a ditch right now. I could have not even woke up this morning. That operation that I went through a couple of years ago could have wiped me slap out, but Lord, I'm still here. I still have breath and enough to praise your name. There's kids out there that are going through, like autism and such like that, but Lord, you bless me to where I don't even have that, and you gotta look at joy as like everything that happens, you could be a lot worse off. And when you just think about the goodness, you be like, man, Lord, you done spared me from a lot of stuff that could have happened to me. Not just to me, but to my family, to my friends, the people I come in close contact with,
I know for me, it just takes me back to the scripture in James where it says, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, and it talks about being perfected. So living this life, it says in Job, a man is born, it has many days on, is born, and he had many days on earth, but a lot of those days will be sorrowful days. So what helps me to keep going is knowing that the joy of the Lord is eternal. Like, I can have the joy of the Lord here, and then when all this is over, I can still go and have more joy in the Lord. So just knowing that everything that we go through is only temporary, yeah, I don't have nowhere to live, but this is only temporary because this is not my permanent home. We aren't here to stay. So that really helps to keep me going and knowing that, hey, anything that can happen on this earth can't be, can't really be that bad, because if I live and do what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to heaven forever anyway. So just stick it out until, until God calls you home, until it's your time. So just knowing, having that assurance and that peace that, hey, no matter what goes on here, I know where my soul is going. You can't beat that with a stick.
Exactly, because it's so beautiful. Because I love to think about it. I'm like, man, there's nothing in this world that can take away the joy of the Lord from me. You know what I mean? Because when you think about everything that the Lord has promised, when you think about everything that
He
is
promised
promised,
here and there.
yes,
Here
like you
and
said,
there.
we already have the victory, and the enemy tries to come and steal that so many times. You ever find yourself waking up with so much joy, and then in the back of your mind, you just on the lookout for the enemy to come and steal it. As soon as you know it, it'll come when you probably done let down your guard for that little bit of 20 minutes. As soon as you know it, boom, here the enemy come with whatever to steal it away from you. But when you think about the promises, the Lord says that He has already given His anointed the victory. We can't walk around defeated. When you already know that, man, I done already won the fight. Like I'm walking around like you can't touch me. You know what I
And
mean?
that's your defense mechanism. When he try to come in and steal it, don't give it to him. Hey,
Exactly.
you can't take this from
You
me.
like, devil, I done already won, bro. Like, what you doing here, man?
That's the level he'll flee.
Exactly. You like, exactly, man. I was me and my wife was talking about, man, you give praise in the hardest times. Praise will confuse, it will piss off the enemy. And kind of hard to say that, but like it's very true. It makes the enemy mad, and it makes him want to put in overtime to get you. It's crazy because the enemy will put in overtime when he knows the promises that you're about to receive is closer than you think. That's when he wants you to turn your back from God, to close those doors so you won't receive them. So when he's putting in overtime to get to you,
You're doing something right.
You're doing something right.
You're doing something right.
And so we're gonna just switch gears again. Kind of, what is faith? What does it mean to have complete, unconditional faith? Like unconditional love, unconditional faith kind of goes in with that same line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Faith. I love talking about faith. I'm happy about this. For me, faith is something that is very important. Faith is just like, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. I was like, faith is like God told me to pray for a church member of mine, and I find myself doing that for a lot of other people who are going through different things. Like God will tell me, pray for that person. When somebody walking by, pray for that person. And having the faith, just knowing. With me, the faith is just like knowing that God's gonna do what He says He's gonna do. Not question it. Don't question it. Don't do none of that. Don't doubt it. Just pray for that dude. Okay, God, please heal him, and go about your business. Like you have faith that. Okay, He told you just to pray for him. He gonna take care of the rest. Don't you worry about it. That's not your job to worry about what's gonna happen after that. Do what He told you to do.
exactly.
Pray for that person and keep on going. And like when they were out on the boat, in the scriptures, and Jesus was asleep, and they was like, "Oh Jesus, everybody else all worried and stressed out about it." But He said, "Oh, ye of little faith." So when I read that, it just made me think about what is He actually saying there. And to me, it was like He was saying, okay, if He just had been asleep and everybody else had just calmed down, the storm would have touched him. Nothing would have touched him. Just by being in His presence, everything would have been okay. Just having that faith, knowing, okay, He is God. You believe in He's God and everything when He's doing all these miracles. But just okay, do you have the faith that He is so powerful that just being around Him will protect you? Being in His presence will protect you, and that's what faith means to me.
Exactly.
And without faith, the scripture says in Hebrews chapter 11, I believe it's impossible to please God, because if you really don't have faith, that means that you really don't believe. Faith is as simple as believing and trusting. Those two put together synonymously. So if you really, really trust God and you really, really believe in Him, the faith is going to be there, because it all goes together. So He just wants your complete trust at all times. Yeah, this is what it looks like, but trust me because I know and I got it. Like He knows all, He sees all, And as humans, sometimes we tend to underestimate God. We tend to put him in the box and say, hey, this is too big or this is too small to ask me for. But God tells us, that's not true. You can ask me for anything. As long as we don't ask amiss. Don't ask for 3 yachts and 2 mansions. But, serious inquiries of God, serious questions about, your life and what's going on with you. God has it covered. And even sometimes you will pray for things that you simply want. And because God is good like that, he'll give it to you. But, we shouldn't think of God as a sugar daddy. That's not why we should have faith. We should have faith that, whatever he says in his word, whatever his promises, he's going to do that because he's faithful to us and we must be faithful to him.
Exactly, because when you say, like, don't pray for it in the midst, which basically means don't pray for it and expect it, but then when it doesn't come, you backtrack on what you just ask God for. So when you ask God for something, you basically give it to him and let him handle it, and he will give it to you in his own time. So if you ask in the midst and say, Lord, like how you said, I want 3 yachts and 2 mansions, Lord will probably say, all right, I get you there. But you got in your mindset, well, I want it in a year, and if I ain't getting in a year, then Lord, you probably just ain't there. You know what I mean? So that's when you're asking in the midst, you're basically missing out on the blessings, because you're basically shorthanding yourself, because the Lord already knows what you asked for before you even ask for it. Even in the Bible it says, before you even opened your mouth, I already knew what your heart was in need of. You know what I mean? So when you ask for, you're like, Lord, I just want to have this, I want to have this, I want to have this. You're like, Lord, and I'm counting on you to give it to me. I'm not going to get it from nowhere else. I'm not going to try to seek it from nowhere else. Father, you're gonna lay that guideline down to where it's going to come. And Lord, in your timing, if I'm like 98 and I'm on my deathbed and you say, hey, here's your mansion. Somebody done left you a mansion at the age of 98. I don't know who would do that, but but when you just think about it, you be like, oh Lord, I can just die happy because you don't promise it to me. And when you worship in spirit and in truth, that means that you worship unconditionally. Like that certain person, your child or your mother, no matter what they done to you, no matter what they can do to you, you will still love them unconditionally. That basically means that's basically going to have to go in with your faith. Your faith has to be unconditional, to where like anything that you ask the Lord to do, if you believe the promises that the Lord has given to you, you will rest on it. You will find rest in the Lord. And this is, it's so powerful once you think of faith, because there's so many circumstances out there that a lot of people believe that we don't have the power to change. There's a lot of things out there that a lot of people don't believe that we have the power to change, when the Lord said there's nothing in this world, no famine, no disease, no thing that could be dominion over you of this world. He has given us the victory. Everything that he promised his people, we have already received in spirit and in the natural. And so we have to rest in that. And
so, with faith, it's a big part of your armor. Because when you don't have faith, the enemy of faith is doubt. So when you don't have faith, like, oh, God ain't gonna do this. I asked for this yesterday. He ain't make it come yesterday. That's how the average human's mindset is. Like, we ask God. The average unbeliever will be like, okay, you say you ask God for anything. I'm gonna ask him for his car tomorrow, and he's supposed to give it tomorrow. No, you ask him for a car. And just because he don't give it to you tomorrow, he may be setting up different situations for you to be able to get that car. And when you don't get it in the time that you want it, you start to doubt, oh, God ain't real. All this is fake. That was a lie. But have strong faith. I believe in strong faith, because when you don't, you open doors for the enemy to attack you, because you're like, okay, doubt. So the devil's just like, okay, he don't believe God can do this. He don't believe God is all powerful. Let me creep in and take over his life in this way. Let me creep in this area. No, have faith, believe. And I was watching the movie God Is Not Dead.
I still need to see that.
That's a good movie.
That's good.
And the professor in it, well, I'm gonna get away, but anyway, the guy in the movie, and this I heard this before with some other people, that he didn't believe in God because his mother, he prayed for his mother to be healed. And if you think about it, I thought about that. People like they'll stray from God because they'll pray for someone in their family who they really care about, like their mom or dad who's sick, and they ask for them to be better and to be healed. And now that person passes, and people just don't believe. Now think about it. You ask for that person to be healed. You ask for that person to be at peace, and be enjoy. And what's the greatest thing? His mom's a real believer also. So what's the greatest joy? What's the greatest peace? And what's the greatest health besides being in the Lord? So actually, that person passing was kind of in a way answering your prayers because they're not suffering no more. And, you know, I mean, to you it makes sense, oh, that person's gone, but, you know, this is our flesh dies. You know, our spirit goes to heaven. You know, so if you think about it, he answers your prayers. Don't give up because things aren't the way that you want it to be. Things, you know, it may seem like it's bad now, or it may seem like he didn't answer your prayers, but honestly, God will never do nothing wrong to you. He always answers your prayers.
And that's very true because every prayer comes in a way that God sends it. You know, it may not be in the way that we want to receive it. You be like, Lord, you sent me a car through FedEx. I was gonna get it at the dealership. You still got a car, didn't you? You know, and so we just gotta receive the blessing in a way because a lot of people, like how you said, like a lot of people that turn away from God because they prayed for something or they paid for something that they believe God would take care of, and it didn't happen, so now they don't believe. I had a conversation with an atheist about that. I actually realized atheists, they believed at one point. In order for you not to believe in something, you had to at least believe in it at one point. And then if it didn't work for you, you said, well, it can't be true because he's not there. A guy told me, he said, man, I read the Bible, telling that man, and all y'all Christians out there talking about y'all supposed to be, y'all supposed to be this, that, and the other. You supposed to live to the guidelines to a T and don't waver, which a lot of Christians don't. I said, so what does that make the person that doesn't live to it? He said, that doesn't make him a Christian. So what did you just tell me? Like, how you gonna say everything that what's a Christian supposed to be, and you just said a lot of people that stray away from that, would that make them a Christian? No. Would that make them a Christian? If they do not live by the guidelines, could they even be considered a Christian?
No, Christian is just Christ-like. So
exactly.
If they're not Christ-like, they may say things with their mouth, but if their actions don't reflect it, then you call it for what it is. Many people call themselves Christians, but if your actions really don't reflect it, it's just a title.
Exactly.
It's just a title. And
that's what I said, because I'm a Cowboy fan. Mm-hmm. I can say, man, we them Cowboys. I'm not a part of the team. I say this a lot. A lot of people are fans of Christianity.
Exactly.
There's too many fans. I put this on Facebook. There's too many fans, not enough players. There's not enough players in the kingdom.
Exactly. Everybody wants to be a Christian. Everybody wants to, get the gifts and get to heaven and, get all this other stuff God promises. But don't nobody want to do the work. Don't nobody want to put in work. You don't want to really be a Christian. You want the idea of being a Christian. You want what, just the surface area of it. Being a Christian is not easy. God ain't never said it's gonna be easy. He's there with you through it to help you fight the battles. I mean, you already won. You already got the victory. So, I mean, actually being a Christian, you gotta die to yourself. You gotta kill your flesh. You gotta deny the stuff that you want in order to live in God's will. Because like I was talking to some atheists before, and there was they weren't atheists. There was the enlightened conscience black people, and I love them. And it was like what is it? That was the Bible is wrong. It's just a slave master wants you to do this, slave master wants you to do that. And I'm like, okay, first of all, the only thing that they changed in the Bible was, in my Bible that I read so far, was the image of God being white. Jesus was a Jew. So any real believer read the Bible and it'll say, don't, pay attention to any image that's made of me, because the same thing happened. You go straight away. People will, oh, the white Jesus, that. Anyways, but my thing is, I tell our people, if we all lived in God's will, how could we go wrong? Nobody ever answers that. No atheist, no pro-black person, no pro-white person, nobody ever answers that question. They skip over and keep on going. And ask me a question. I'm like, nah, answer this question first. If we lived all according to God's will, how could we go wrong? In the beginning, Adam and Eve had everything they wanted. They was in God's will. Everything was perfect when everybody was in God's will. We strayed away. Everything started to crumble and fall and just go to chaos. Yeah, when we left God's will and did what we wanted to do. So that's what it says, leave your flesh, forget your desires, and follow God's will.
Exactly, because a lot of people had this saying like, well, Jesus was black. I don't care if he was yellow. Does the story change?
Nope.
Does the story change?
That's irrelevant. We have to look at the big picture. The man died on the cross for you. It don't matter what color it is. Race is not a
he
matter.
He could have been teal. I was like, Lord Jesus, you look good in teal. You look good in teal. That's all I'm going to say. But, it's just a lot of foolishness when you talk to a lot of people. You want to prove them wrong, but sometimes you feel yourself, you're going to get into an argument with them. Then you like, you know what? Yeah, you get passionate. Because he's out there telling me what a Christian's supposed to do. I said, so you're a mechanic, right? He said, yeah, I'm a mechanic. So if I read a book on being a mechanic, but I did not understand any of it, could I actually give you advice on how to be a mechanic? He's like, no. I said, why can't I do that? I said, even if I read it, I know all the words and stuff. He said, you just basically be regurgitating what you read. I said, what are you just doing to me? You're basically regurgitating what you said, but you don't understand it.
Exactly.
So how can you tell me what a Christian's supposed to be?
Exactly.
How can you give me advice on what a Christian's supposed to be?
Exactly.
You know?
Everybody always say that, oh, I read the Bible through and through, I read the Bible for years. You can read any book you want, you can read anything you want, but do you understand it? Do you
live it? It's the question.
Yeah.
Do you at
live
least
it?
try?
Yeah,
to
exactly.
I tell anybody, I'm not gonna argue with it. If you don't believe it, just try it. Try it for yourself.
Don't
Try.
believe it, just try.
How do you go?
Is that because like oh man, I just lost my train of thought because even then, because I was telling him, he's talking like, man, I was one of the smartest guys in my class or whatever, this, that, and the other. I said, why is it always the smartest? The smartest men in the world can't comprehend the Bible. You read books on Big Bang theories and evolution and stuff, you understand that to a T, but when it comes to the Bible, you can't understand it. You got it.
It's pride and arrogance
It's pride.
because I'm so smart you can't tell me nothing.
Exactly. Because then when I told him that, he said something like, I did 2 years in college. I said, but you still delivering flowers with me, so what does your 2 years in college do for you? That wasn't a shot to him, but you know, I'm just saying though.
It was a little one.
It was a shot. I'm just saying though, but like you still delivering flowers with me though, cause I'm just saying though. But like I told him, I said, why is it a man with a 6th grade education can break down the Bible in such a way you be like, whoa. But then the person that has all the degrees and doctrines in the world, doctor's degrees and everything, they can't understand it because I said that common sense, book sense, spiritual sense, 3 different things. A lot of people that have book sense don't have common sense.
Yeah.
A lot of people with common sense don't have spiritual sense. It's really the true children of God that has all 3 elements. We got book sense, common sense, and spiritual sense. Everything runs together. And that's when you actually, like how we said earlier, when you're in the will of God, you start your spiritual discernment, you see these things. You can actually have these things flow through you to where you understand everything. Common sense, spiritual sense, and book sense all runs together. No problem. But like when you just, like how you said, prideful, well, it don't make no sense. How can you do this when it says this? Like, because you ain't breaking it down, you just read. Yeah. If I read a book on green eggs and ham, that don't mean I know the ingredients. Like, how did eggs turn green? What was it? You know what I mean? It don't make sense, but
it takes, you like to say, you have to have a spiritual mindset to understand spiritual matters. And a lot of people try to look at it from a literal perspective or a physical perspective, and it doesn't make sense if that's how you look at it. But God is a spirit, so you have to be able to see spiritually to understand the spiritual matters that He's trying to explain to you. If you don't have the mindset, it'll never make sense to you.
exactly.
It'll never make sense.
I just say that at the end of the day, the only reason the atheists don't believe is because they can't do it with their own hands.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
And don't nobody want to submit either, you know. I mean, it's a submission. You got to submit to the will of God. Everybody don't go, I'm like you said, the smartest people in class, like, you know, oh, I'm smart, you know, I got 50,000 degrees, I'm Stephen Hawking or whatever my name is, I'm the smartest man in the world. You know, you got to forget all that. God don't care about none of that. You know, and if you believe in God, I mean, knowledge and everything comes from God first of all. So your little degree don't mean nothing to God. He created your degrees. He created all this. So if you seek Him, and He will give you knowledge. He will give you wisdom and all that. You know, so it doesn't take the biggest brain in the world to understand the Bible. You just have to have a desire and a heart that wants to understand God and knows and live in His will. And then he'll help you out through like everything. He'll provide. Like he says, the fish don't worry about how they're gonna eat. Animals don't worry about how they eat. Trees don't worry about how they're gonna grow. God is gonna provide. So if you sit there and realize that God is gonna provide, which is a part of faith, believing and trusting that God is gonna provide and do what He says He's gonna do, then
exactly, and everything is gonna run all in together. But you can't tell nobody that with a triple digit IQ score or whatever. Man, get up out of here. There's stuff in the Bible that the world can't even teach you. There's stuff in the Bible that none of them books can even teach you. But you know, that's a whole. We done spent a lot of time on that subject right there because I can talk about that like all day long.
Yeah.
But we're gonna switch gears once again. Vroom. Now we're gonna go into the discussion of what is vanity and what entails with vanity.
Well, I just recently did a teaching on Solomon and the life of Solomon, and in Ecclesiastes chapter 2, he talks about vanity and vexation, and he was saying, Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verses 10 and 11, he was saying that anything his eyes wanted, he didn't withheld, the joys he wanted, he didn't withhold from himself. Whatever he wanted to do, basically, he did it. And in verse 11, he said it was all for nothing. It was all the labor, it was no profit under the sun, and it caused vanity and vexation. And vanity just means it was no use for a result. It was completely ineffectual. There was no use for a result from the things. I put all this work in, I did all these things, and it didn't amount to anything. And then vexation it means that to cause trouble, difficulty, or torment. So not only do I have vanity, it was completely useful, but I reap the consequence now, and I'm suffering difficulties because of my decisions. I'm suffering from trouble and torment because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So vanity and vexation comes with a decision. It's a decision and then it's a consequence. So he made a decision to do some things that were useless, and as a result, he got vexation. So his vanity caused his vexation of spirit. But just did some research on that, and it made me think back to, my decision making, the big picture. Because Solomon, before his father died, David and King in 1 Kings, his father gave him some instructions. Now he started out following these instructions. His father told him to follow God, walk with God, keep his commandments. And he said, you'll be prosperous in all that you do and everywhere you go. And Solomon did that. He had God's blessing when he did do that. God gave him wisdom, what he asked for. And then he also gave him riches because his heart was in a good place. This in 1 Kings chapter 3. But you go to 1 Kings chapter 11, we see that Solomon had a downfall because he made a bad decision. He made a decision to have 700 wives and 300 concubines, I believe. He had 1,000 women in total. Yeah. And the women worship idols. And then in turn, they caused Solomon's heart to be turned away from the Lord because he began to worship the idols. That one decision not only affected him, but it affected his son too, and it caused vanity and it caused vexation of spirit. So the big picture is, what I got out of it when the Lord was telling me was decision making. You have free will. I can't make you do anything, but if you know the right thing to do, choose the right thing to do, or you suffer the consequences.
Exactly, because that's it's funny that you say like all things is choices. You can't tell a lot of people that life is made up of choices. A lot of people back on atheists. They believe, I realized, the Lord revealed something to me, that a lot of them, they don't believe in change. They believe that a lot of things happen just because that's the way it is. When we had a conversation about like gays being married and men laying with men and stuff like that, and the dude was telling me, he said something like, they were born that way. I said, and how were they born that way? He said, because God made them that way. I said, so this is the thing that shocked me. I asked the guy, I said, so like, real men always, I can honestly say, any real man can honestly say that a gay thought came in their mind. Just saying the word gay, a gay thought came in their mind. But a lot of gay thoughts, men don't act on. We be like, Lord, oh no. That's how we think, you know what I mean? But the crazy thing is, the guy told me, I asked him, I said, so like you ever had a gay thought in your mind? He's like, yeah. I said, did you act on it? He said, yeah. I said, okay, so you act. It shocked me. I'm not even gonna lie. I said, so what happened? Well, I didn't say what happened, but I'm like, so what was the conclusion there? I said, so you chose to lay with another man. He's like, yeah. I said, what happened? What did you do after that? He said, I found out that it wasn't for me. I said, what was that? A choice. What did I just say? He said that being gay is a choice. Did I not just say gay is being a choice? So we going back and forth. He's like, that's not the same, because I had a gay thought and I acted on it, but I didn't, I didn't go along with it after I already had the thing or whatever. I had the decision to do that. And so basically, you made a choice to do it, and you made a choice to not do it.
His choice it was completely useless. It had no use for results. He caused himself vanity.
Is that calling himself vanity? And then that's why I was telling him, like, a lot of gay dudes, they act on it and they stay in it. And then they believe that it's not a choice because God made them that way. They'll be miserable if they was with a woman. They don't believe in hope. That's why they don't believe in God. So if they don't believe in God, they don't believe in hope, which means they don't believe in healing, which means they don't believe in victory. They don't believe in change. That's basically all that it is right there. They don't believe that a creator can change anything. They don't believe that God created anything. That's like the power of free will. We have the power to do anything. The most powerful thing that we have in this world is the power of free will. We choose to serve God. Serving God is actually a choice. Whether you think about it or not, it's actually a choice. We choose to serve God. We want to serve God. We need to serve God. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing in this world that we can actually, God can't even make us serve Him. When you think about it, when you ever have somebody tell you to do something, you're like, dang. And I don't feel like I want to do it. But then when you have your own free will to say, you know what, I want to do it, let's do it. And then you get so happy about it. Because it's my choice. I choose to do it.
You find joy in it. And thinking about, okay, God could have made us, because he made everything in the beginning. He could have made us, okay, well, you going to serve me, you going to do this, you going to do that. But then it would have been miserable. Everybody would have been like, oh, well, we forced to do this. I don't want you to be forced to do nothing. You mean, it's your own free will. He gives everybody free will. You have the choice to do anything. You have the choice to serve Him or not serve Him. And everybody's like, oh, if God's so powerful, and He's all-seeing and all-knowing God, then how, then why does He come down here and He see how the world is, and why does He just sit there and not do nothing? And talking to Will, other brother, and he was just like, he made me realize something, that God gave authority to man, and then we gave authority to the devil.
Dominion over the earth.
Yeah, and that was our own free will. So now I always tell atheists stuff like, okay, when ISIS cut off the heads of our other 21 brothers, that was their own free will. That was their choice. When our mother kills her baby, that's her choice. Everything is all these calamities and all these accidents and all this tragedy and stuff. These are our choices. So why are we mad at God? God didn't do nothing to us. He ain't did nothing to us, but create us and put us on a beautiful planet to serve Him.
Exactly.
Everything was perfect, and don't nobody want to fess up. Don't nobody want to own up to their mistakes. Yeah, exactly. Don't nobody want to own up to their mistakes. And another thing with free will that I thought about was a question I had for a long time. People was like, okay, if God knows everything, how does He know how many people are going to, like, predestination? Does He know how many people going to heaven, how many people going to hell? Now, this is what the revelation I got from it. We had to stop and think about the way God sees stuff. He sees the consequences of everything. Okay, he knows. Okay, let's just say, okay, I want to pick up your phone. And I can either throw the phone or put it back down. Now he sees, okay, what's gonna happen if I throw the phone. He sees what's gonna happen if I put the phone back down. It's just up to us to make that choice. So it's not no such thing as predestination where it's only a set number of people going to heaven, a set number of people going to hell. He knows everything. He sees everything, but he sees it in parallel. So he sees, okay, the consequences of this, the consequences of that. So this is of our own free will to choose to go to heaven or choose to go to hell. God doesn't send nobody to hell. It's not for us. We don't belong to hell, but we send ourselves there because we want to follow our flesh.
Exactly, and that goes back to the premise of the question,
which was
vanity and vexation, because you put so much effort into the wrong things, it causes you stress. It causes you discomfort. It causes you just wrongful thinking. You know what I mean? You put so much effort into stuff that is not even in the will of God, you start to lose yourself in a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean?
You don't gain anything.
You don't gain anything from it. And like I was telling a guy before, I said, you know what's crazy? When you think about it, a lot of people's lives are examples of what you need to not do.
Yeah.
A lot of people's imposed on free will is something that you learn from them to not do, because you see the result, you see the road that they're heading down. And it's crazy when you want them to come with you to Christ, like because you're like, man, I don't want to see you going this way, but your life is telling me the exact way I need to not go. You know what I mean? And then like how you said, even if God knew the number, most likely He does. I'm not saying He don't, I'm saying He do, but that's God. Like they put so much effort into the numbers. I'm like, wait, what? Where you gonna go? You want to be +1 or -1? You know what I mean? And a lot of people put so much emphasis and energy into the wrong stuff. They be like, well, if God was this, why did he let he's like, why did he kill that? I mean, why did he let that family get killed, or that mother get killed, or that father get killed like that? I'm like, it could have been worse.
And that was their free will.
Exactly. I'm like, it could have been the mother, the father, and all the children in one setting, which happens a lot. Like fathers, it's so crazy. Fathers get drunk and take all these drugs and get filled with all these spirits and stuff to where they get drunk enough that they kill their wife and they kill their kids. Then they turn around and kill themselves. You know what I mean? Things could be a lot worse than what you think it is.
Yeah.
You know, because I always see the optimism in it. Even though a lot of people don't say like there's so much hell going on in the world. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of hell going on in the world, but that child that was saved can be something marvelous that comes out of, can be that diamond in the rough that came out of that bad place. You know what I mean?
And
if you nurture it right.
Yeah, and it's important to remember that God allows things to happen. For example, it just reminds me of Job, how you say Job lost everything, but God allowed that to happen to Job. And it goes back to the faith earlier that we talked about. But then out of this situation, Job made the correct decisions. His wife told him to curse God and die. But he made a conscious decision, that's not what I'm going to do.
Exactly.
And in the end, he didn't get vanity and he didn't get vexation. He didn't go through it for nothing. He had some difficulties and some trouble. But in the end, how Solomon said he didn't reap no profit, Job's testimony was different because God gave him, is it double fold or sevenfold? I believe it's double fold. In Job, that God gave him back for doing what he was supposed to do in that situation. So just like Will said, even though he had a rough situation, God got the glory out of the situation. And God also allowed it as well. It was a test of faith, but he passed it. He did what he was supposed to do. And he did have vexation. He had some trouble and difficulty, but God allowed that trouble and difficulty. But he didn't have no vanity, and he got a profit out of it.
And he took it like most people should take. Like he's sitting up there sick, blisters, stuff all on his legs and feet, the way he can't even walk. He just still like, Lord, I believe him. I trust in you. Wife come up to you, baby, you should curse him. Like, you stay over there with that. I'm over here with the Lord. Lord, please forgive her. I rebuke that right now. And but it's so powerful, man. I just love having these type of conversations because a lot of people don't have them. Like we need to stop. Exactly, we need to stop putting all this energy into the wrong things. There's so much energy that can be used to get people closer to God.
And then like something that people need to understand. We Christians need to get on our job. Now, okay, just like you said, people are like, oh, that father killed that family. Who was praying for that family? Who was praying for all the brothers that got killed over there? Who was praying for these gang members? Who was praying for these people? Who's, are you giving God access to their lives? We have dominion over this world. So, if God creates a law, he got to honor the law too. That's just as justice. So, you want God to fix this, God to fix that, but you're not praying for it. You're not praying over that nation. You're not praying over that mother and her child. You're not praying over that gang member. You're not praying over your neighborhood. You're not praying over nothing. You're not doing nothing. You sitting here, you want to be a Christian, but you want to sit here, get stagnant, and do nothing. So a big thing is intercession. Pray for them people. I realize the importance of intercession the other day. And standing in the gap for people. People need prayer. Not everybody can. You might be more spiritually mature than somebody else. So you might, know how to talk to God more. You might know what to pray for. A lot of people don't know what exactly was wrong with them and what to pray for. So if you are more spiritually mature, you can discern what spirits are in that person, what spirits need to be prayed out of that person, then you'll know what to pray for. Stand in the gap for that person. Talk to God for that person. He might be, too weak. The spirit might be fighting to the point where he don't want to pray. Pray for that person. Give God access to that person's life to heal that person. Don't just sit back and watch and be a spectator. Do something.
Being a fan.
Exactly.
That's basically what a fan is. You just gonna spectate what the real team does.
Yeah, just gonna sit and watch.
And I love that word stagnant right there. I ain't gonna lie, I thought you said get stabbed. I was like, bro, we gonna sit and get stabbed. Well, alright, man. Our last question of the day. This is one of the things that I love to tell people when you're trying to get a closer walk to God. One of the things that you want to start off with is changing your music. A lot of people don't understand that there's a lot of spiritual things that go on into secular music. There's a lot of witchcraft that goes on in secular music. I can actually speak on it. I discern them. It's a lot of a rhythm that goes into it to where it sticks in your head to where it's repetition. Because a lot of people don't understand that. That's why you sit around, you're going around, you listen to a song for long enough, and then you could be just doing something totally out of the ordinary, and then you just bust out a song in your head, and now it's just in there, and now you're singing the whole thing, which is actually spirits repetition in your mind right there, because you're only a product of what your soul accepts. So if you're accepting secular music, you're accepting secular spirits, you're accepting demons, you're accepting all this type of things that they put into the musical stream, the musical tones, the musical beats and stuff like that. It's one of the things that actually captures you, because I was actually, when I was in the Word, I was a fan of Young Jeezy. I can actually say I was a fan of Young Jeezy. Never held a gun before until like a month ago. Never held a gun before. And I was sitting up there, I go to the club and all this smoking and drinking going on, and I'm up here talking about shooting and killing, slinging dope. Never even held a bag of cocaine in my hand. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things that you sit up there and say that you don't even know what you're saying, but that's what the spirit is. It's just already repetition in your mind. So basically what you're doing is you just regurgitating everything that has already been placed in you when you sit up there and listen to all this music. And so that's why I like to tell people, like, when you change your music, it'll change your life. I stopped listening to the radio 3 years ago when me and my wife first got together, because she stopped listening to the radio. I stopped listening to the radio right after her. It took me a minute to get there because I didn't realize there was nothing else really on the radio until then, you know. And then I started getting into a lot of Christian artists and a lot of Christian people like that, you know. But when you start to turn your way away from those spirits in the music, your walk with Christ will actually get a lot smoother in transition, because you're not having those curse words pop up in your head all the time. You're not having all this stuff bleeding through your spirit all day long. Because when you sit up there and listen to, I actually tried to do a video and the enemy stopped it from happening because my phone actually went out. Because where I had a video to where I even just did this, I said, you know what, I'm going to just see what's on 93 BLX right now. I'm just see what's on there. You know what I mean? I turned it on there and it was like, da, 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 da. I was like, I said, I'm going to turn it off. And so I went to a little Christian station that I listen to when I'm on the road. When I'm outside of Pensacola and I don't have no Christian station to listen to, so I turned it to a 90.5, 90.7 or something like that, and actually had them playing on there. I actually sit there and listen to an old country gospel song over the garbage that they put on the radio nowadays. Because they say they want to save our youth, they say they're about uplifting black people, they say they want to do this, they say they want to do that. Don't reflect it at all. All this secular music ain't doing nothing but adding on to it. Like even the things over there in Baltimore, you have Bloods and Crips out there talking about Black Lives Matter, but I'm like, don't y'all kill each other every day?
Exactly.
A black life don't really matter until a white man takes one.
Exactly.
That's very sad when you think about it. And then outside, man, this whole, I'm gonna just shift gears, okay, with the music, because they always say that like we want our youth to be this, they want our youth to be that. They be putting that on the radio and stuff, but you sit up here playing Lil Wayne and stuff, talking about America, the land of kill 'em all and let them die. Like that don't make no sense to me. Like how you gonna sit up here and talk about you care about the black community, but when the only thing you're doing is feeding garbage into it. But then I thought about it, only reason they feeding garbage into it because it feeds their family. They're feeding us garbage because it feeds their family. And so, and that's really crazy, because I'm sitting up here thinking, I'm like, man, Lord, a lot of people don't want to hear what I have to say about all this whole white cop killing black kid type thing or whatever, because like everybody like, well, what you think? I'm like, you don't want to hear what I want to have to say. Because if you're gonna put every white person in the category, please don't let me put every black person in the category. If I have to do that, that will shut down everything. Because you're talking about all these white people, they don't want to do nothing but lock us up. I said, most of these fools out here do need to be locked up. That's just true. That's just...
It always bothers me when people be on Facebook like free Pookie, and Pookie killed 3 people, robbed 2 grandmas, and stole a car. Like, no, put him in there.
Yeah, Pookie need to stay.
Put him in there.
Pookie need to stay for a good while. You know,
and that's it. We want, like you said, we want change, but we don't like, okay, oh yeah, man, we stand up for our rights. Man, it's wrong with that person to do that. We're a good black community. All right, we'll be right back with Kevin Gates selling drugs. I mean, come on, we gotta do better than that. And like with the spirits, with the music, it's like, because I used to listen to my favorite artist when I was in the world was Joe Budden, and a lot of his stuff would make you sit there and be depressed, and it just made me feel some type of way. And then like when I wanted to fight, I listened to music that made me want to fight. It'll put that spirit on me to make me want to fight. And it was like I was manipulating myself. And I was like with my old group of friends, and I wanted to be blood. I wanted to be a blood. I knew the consequences of it. I knew what could happen, but I didn't care. I listened to that music, listened to the wrong people. It had the influence on me. I wanted to have a gun. I wanted to shoot around a whole bunch of people, sell drugs, and all this stuff like that. Because I thought it was cool. It was in the music. These people got money. So hey, I want to be like them. I want to be successful. But that's nothing. That's dead. That's dead.
That's vanity and vexation.
Exactly.
Look at God speaking in this place. That's very true, because like I was telling the young man before, I was like, he told me he was a blood. I said, there's bloods in Pensacola? He was like, yeah, there's bloods. I was like, but you're white. It caught me off guard. I was like, you're a blood.
That's a bit different. But
I told him this. I said, so let me know this. What's the point of the game? Like, I never really got the point of the game. He's like, have friends. I'm like, you can have friends in junior high. Just sit at the lunch table. That's your friend time right there. He's like, what's the point of a game though? He's like, for protection. I said, for protection from who? He said, these killers in these streets.
you are.
I said, this is what I said. I said, what area you stay in? He said, Santa Rosa. I said, oh Lord. I said, so why? I said, so there's bloods in your community. He said, nah, I'm the only one out there. I said, wow. You're the only one out there. Who do you need protection from?
It don't make sense.
And so I'm like, Lord, so I told him, I said, man, like, why do you want to be accepted by everybody? Yeah. Everybody just want to be accepted. Like, I was sitting up there listening to these boys talk, man, and like, they just wanted to hear themselves talk. Like, I just want to be accepted by one another. You put so much energy into being accepted by somebody when you ain't even going to know them in the next 2 or 3 years. Like, that's why I said, like, a lot of dudes, they talk about, even with these women, they put so much effort into these girls that are going to be just girlfriends for a while. But then I'm like, you spending all this money and this time and this energy on this girl that ain't even going to be your wife. And then they're talking like, well, I can't get married young. Well, then don't get married young. But then at the same time, don't waste money or time or energy or chance that you may catch something from this girl just because, you just want to have fun. You know what I mean? Yeah, just a waste of time.
Man, you gotta watch yourself like that, man. It's crazy. I had to learn that lesson myself. Don't put all this energy into these different women and stuff, and just having sex with different women. I mean, sit there and thought about, bro, I'm putting my life in there. That was not worth it. I'm cool. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to none of y'all. Bye. I'm gonna stay myself and stay to God.
Exactly.
And it became my focus. That's what brought me back. Just sitting there and realizing that the situation I'm in, it was just. I was just one of the darkest times in my life. When you sitting there, all the fun times was cool with everybody. You want to be like, I want to be accepted by everybody. All the fun times was cool with everybody. Drinking and smoking and everything. I had my job. I'm putting a whole bunch of money in. At the end of the day, when all the fun was over, everybody went home to their families, and I'm sitting there looking up at God, like, what am I doing? Where am I at? Where is everybody? And I realized it was just me and God. Don't forget about being the other people I was trying to impress and be accepted by. It was gone. Doors closed. I'm sitting out there in the cold. It's just me and God.
Exactly.
When I learned how to please Him and focus on my family, I became a better person. I always kept the image of my family here that I'm a good person. I never let them see me in any of that. And I realized that there's a better way. Forget trying to be accepted by everybody. Everybody ain't gonna love you. Everybody ain't gonna be a friend. Everybody ain't gonna be loyal. I'm a real loyal person. I'm a real compassionate person. I'm a real giving person. Everybody, my grandmother always said, ain't nobody gonna treat you like you treat them. And ain't nobody gonna treat you like God. So I stopped looking for people to treat. I don't expect nothing from nobody. I expect everything from everybody.
Exactly, and that's what me and my wife was talking about. I told my wife, I was like, outside of you, my mom and my daddy. I love you, but like I can go on without talking to you. Like I done got to the point where you can't please everybody. I don't try to anymore. I don't even get mad at people about saying this stuff no more. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you be like, man, we supposed to be family. We supposed to be doing this. We supposed to be doing that. But at the same time, you like, I put so much energy into stuff. Like we all grew up. It is what it is now. You know what I mean? Ain't no love lost. We still family every time we see you. Like, look, hey, give me a hug, man. I ain't seen you in a while. But as far as like putting energy into people that putting energy into people that have their own lives. They have their own lives in there. So it is what it is. Outside of my wife, my mother-in-law, I'm sorry, and my mother and my father. You know, everybody else, you know, I'm cool. You know, it is what it is. You know, and I don't hold no malice towards anybody because I just love when God sits you alone with that one person or that person that you know that you're gonna call your wife or your husband one day, and it's just y'all two. When it's just y'all two, I'm sorry, my voice broke up when I said,
It's a passion again.
get your hands off me. Nah, that's right. But like me, my pastor told me and my wife told me like when the door is closed, it's you and her. When the door is open, it's you and her against the world. And so that's the way it is though. And it's so powerful when you think about it, man. But we are out of time for today. This is the last one for a while before we can get Zell back in on the show.
So hard.
It's so hard. You say goodbye. I'm just But we just want y'all to keep her in your prayers. She's leaving soon. Keep her lifted up. We will make sure that we always give you guys some information on her when we actually find out something. She's going to be graduating the next 2.5 months. 2 months? 2.5 months?
8.5 weeks.
2
months. 2
What
months.
show was gonna put that? Like, I hate when people do that. Like 8.5 weeks. Like, is that the 5-day period or the 7-day?
Let me be right for a minute.
Exactly. Like, look at that in the calendar. But nah, she's gonna be graduating soon, and hopefully we'll have some pictures and stuff to post up on it. And we would like to make the trip, but probably won't have enough slots, and probably won't have. I ain't gonna say that because I claim billions.
Prosperity.
I claim billions. I'm able to buy the ceremony. But nah, but y'all be blessed. It's the fall 24/7. Anybody want to say anything before we head out?
No, just for me personally, I miss my brothers, but it's a new step in life, so I'm looking forward to where God has taken me. He said I'll be one that would work in the trenches, and he also said I'll be a light in dark places. That was spoken over me a few years back, so I really believe this is going to be the start of that. So I ask you guys just keep me up in prayer. Definitely going to write and get with the guys here, send some videos and stuff. You know, from where I'm at, I'll be in the Chicago area for about a year. So God bless you all. Thank you for your prayers and your support.
I ain't never got nothing to say. Alright, so everybody that joined us in on today, you guys be blessed. We love you, and God bless you all. Fall 24/7. Okay, that was a dramatic pause. If I can't cut that out, I'm just go over here and cut this.